So, as I had said earlier today, Dynamax is finally banned from OU. Yes, Smogon has banned both Dynamax and Gigantamax from the OU tier, so I figured I'd make a vid about it as soon as it happens, just so we can discuss why the ban happened, what I think about it, the future of OU, etc, etc. I want to be able to give you guys a true in-depth analysis on this mechanic, why I think it got banned, what I think, if that's a good thing or a bad thing in the future of the meta, because I think I'm pretty qualified to talk on this at this point. I've probably played like 1,000 Sun and Moon, 1,000 Sword and Shield games. But yeah, let's just hop right into it. So, the OU Council has decided to ban Dynamax explanation and information. So let's go over this. Blah, 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 blah. Substantial impact on the competitive landscape, whatever. Okay, so it's banned in OU and below, but it's not banned in Ubers. This is basically Smogon saying that you can play your own format, which is very true. If you're playing on Wi-Fi, you can play with your own rules. If you don't agree with the Dynamax ban, that's like whatever. I play mainly Showdown, which is why I'm going to cover this video. And I play in Smogon tournaments, so... Okay, so let's talk about this. The reason behind the Dynamax ban involves the increase in power, the impact of the secondary effects each type's move has, the defensive merit gained through doubling the HP of any Dynamax user, and the element of unpredictability that comes alongside being able to Dynamax with any Pokemon at any point of the game. Okay, so they have a lot of posts here. Basically, the big thing was that the moves are extremely high base powered, all like 130 base power. They all come with incredible secondary effects, setting up weather, terrains, status against the opponent, boosting speed, boosting special attack, boosting attack. They all have some incredible moves and just like insane versatility. So let's look at some of these posts right here real quick, see if there's anything worth reading here. Well, these are hella big. Breaking all forms of move locks single-handedly trivializes countermeasures against offense. That's very true. The fact that you can break out of your choice item is very big. Get past Encore, Taunt, all that stuff. It's just useless versus Dynamax. Moves that do damage are guaranteed to trigger a secondary effect. Very true, very true. Gaining double the HP allows a lot of these Pokemon to live whatever attack. Let's keep going through this. Let's keep seeing what people basically think. I'm assuming all these people voted for ban. There were 291 people who were able to vote for this test, and it got banned with a super majority. I think it was like 85% of the people who got the requirements on the ladder and voted for it banned it. So yeah, out of the 290, I think only like 30 people said that they didn't want it banned, and like 200 plus said that they want it banned. So it got clearly taken out. The fact that every Pokemon can Dynamax means that there's a far greater list of potential and even viable Dynamax abusers than we can expect people to reasonably prepare for. I think this is a good thing. I mean, a good explanation, because the thing with Z moves is people were really on the fence whether Z moves were broken or not. I remember back in Gen 7. And even I was like, I mean, they're pretty good, but I liked Z moves because they let me use Pokemon that were pretty mediocre, but they could shine thanks to a Z move. I feel the same way about Dynamax. However, a Z move was just a one-time attack. This is way different. The Pokemon that are really good, when they Dynamax, it's so devastating. Like when Gyarados hits a Dynamax, it's way different than something like Machamp hitting a Dynamax. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, in Gen 7, a Z move is just a one-time attack. So any real Pokemon can, go for their Z move and, do some good work. But on the flip side, with Generation 8 having this Dynamax 3 turns of just going on a rampage, something like Gyarados, Hawlucha, whatever the case is, those are way more effective than using a Pokemon like Machamp or whatever fun Pokemon you're trying to use. Stuff like Corviknight, which has so many viable sets, is able to max Airstream and just sweep through so many teams. Stuff like Darmanitan, which is able to break out of its ability and Choice Band boost to basically just keep switching up its moves. It's crazy. And I guess those are some of the posts here referenced. Let's see what else they say. There's no true limit to how potent Dynamax moves can be, given that each type provides different benefits that can potentially be game-changing. Some of the most versatile Pokemon that are already great in the current metagame are also much stronger due to this, which makes finding reliable counterplay a virtual impossibility at times. Very true, very true. In addition, you're immune to being phased out, encored, and disabled. You're also immune to moves like Low Kick and Heat Crash and Grass Knot. It's crazy. And you're able to bypass Protect to do 1/4 damage like Z moves. That's a very big deal as well. That is, just like Z moves, they're able to go to Protect, and you can do it 3 times in a row, so you can't even outstall it, which is really, really annoying. But yeah, the sweeping aspect of Dynamax is so problematic that Ditto has quickly risen to near top of usage statistics. I agree with that's a big problem. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I did my top 10 strongest Pokemon at OU, and Ditto was in like the top 3 by usage. Ditto at the 1800s and above ladder, which means like the highest of high ladder, has nearly 50% usage. That means in your battle, you're gonna see a Ditto most of the time. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because, I mean, 50%, that means one of the people on the team has to have one. I mean, one of the people in the battle has to have one. Ditto was on like every team just because offense is so insane and there's very few countermeasures to Dynamax. So why not just use Ditto and then Dynamax back and sweep them? While all of this is cause for concern, the biggest reason for banning Dynamax is perhaps the unpredictability that comes alongside it. Prioritize skillful play and minimizing guesswork, and Dynamax does bring a lot of variance. I agree with that. Breaking through your choice. We would like to add that this suspect has grouped Dynamax with Gigantamaxing, as they are the same mechanic, but with the latter only being usable in a smaller pool of Pokemon. In the games themselves, they function the same way and are used throughout the same exact mechanism with the battle. Tiering them separately was not something we wish to entertain, and Gigantamaxing will also be banned alongside Dynamaxing moving forward. This really sucks to me because I did think a lot of the Gigantamax Pokemon were very enjoyable to use, very fun. I had so much cool stuff. Like, I had so many cool Pokemon, like Copperajah and stuff, that I thought was great thanks to the thanks to the Gigantamax boost that they had received in this generation. However, I understand why they decided to tier all of them together and just get rid of them rather than picking and choosing individual Pokemon. However, it does really suck because I really liked a lot of these Gigantamax Pokemon. It's not like Copperajah with the G-Max is some like insane threat that every team is going to be utilizing. Far from it, but it is very powerful. So I can understand why they were like, okay, we'll just sweep this all together. However, I really wish they didn't. I really wish Gigantamax was tiered differently. I really wish that we were able to keep some of these Pokemon, because I mean, stuff like Orbeetle is so obviously not broken with its Gigantamax, but I mean, this goes under Smogon's classic shit where they just ban everything rather than like pick and choose, which kind of sucks, man. You can say the same thing for Blaziken when they banned Blaziken rather than Speed Boost on it because they were like, oh, that's too complex. Like, it's just useless. I don't know why they are so adamant about like everything being under the same umbrella, but it looks like Gigantamax got hit here too. And it's not like Gigantamax is like balanced or anything. I'm sure you can make an argument that some Gigantamaxers like Hatterene are like too broken, Grimmsnarl, stuff like that, but I don't know. It just kind of sucks that it went with it. Despite the competitive ramifications of Dynamax, it is true that individuals throughout the community, including a minority of voters, believe that Dynamax should remain in the Sword Shield OU metagame. One of the most common arguments on its behalf was that removing a core mechanic would strip the generations of its identity. I agree with that. I think it really sucks that the core mechanic of this generation was so broken that we had to get rid of it. Basically, we really did strip the main feature of this generation. Gen 7 had Z moves, Gen 6 had Megas, Gen 5 was like weather basically. It just sucks. Well, Gen 5 was also team preview, but it just really sucks that this mechanic was so broken that there was no other possibility but to get rid of it. And I mean, I do believe Dynamax and Gigantamax were broken. Dynamax especially was broken. It is what it is. It was definitely unhealthy for the metagame. It just sucks that there was no balance with this, that we were able to keep it or something, and like the core mechanic had to go. We still believe that finding a competitive balance is the first and foremost priority of tiering. I agree with that. Preserving a metagame that has player skill as the main determinant of the outcome of battles is of greater importance than preserving a mechanic to align the generation's identity with, which we deem unnecessary. I understand, they're basically saying that they want the better player to win the game always, and Dynamax takes that out, and with Dynamax creating such an imbalance, they don't see it worth keeping, regardless of if it's the identifiable factor of the generation. There are noteworthy fundamental differences between the core mechanic and others from recent generations. I agree completely. I don't know how people compare these to Z moves. Dude, Z moves were good, but like the only Z move I thought was like broken was like Komodo's. That shit was so broken because you give +1 stats and you do damage. But like your random Z Stone Edge, Z Earthquake, like it's like whatever. It's not that like it's just like a one-time thing. Even Mega Stones, yeah, Megas were powerful, but Megas can't hold a finger to Dynamax Pokemon. Yeah, y'all be complaining about Mega Metagross and whatever. Out comes Dynamax Gyarados to send that thing packing. So you know what I mean? Like it's very obvious that this is much more powerful. Dynamax may promote short-term bursts in power, but it also promotes more proactive play. Oh, that's another argument that has been made, is that Dynamax may promote short-term bursts in power, but it also promotes more proactive play, and the metagame without it may be more passive when compared to past generations, so people are worried about stall basically. While we realize that the metagame is in the aftermath of this ban may take time to develop and require further tiering action, that will always be on the table, and we will always do everything within our power as a tiering council to promote a metagame that is highly competitive, blah 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 blah. We cannot keep one element deemed worthy, blah 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 blah. Okay, so basically they banned it. I mean, we can go to OU forums right now. We're gonna go to the forums right now. I want to see the voting. You can go to blind voting and you can see how people voted. So as you can see, 291 people, I believe, were allowed to vote on this. Yes, all of these people went and got the suspect Rex on the ladder. Anybody could do this. I said this in my video when I first talked about Dynamax, that any person in the world can go sign up to ladder for this and vote for it. This was done by the public. It was a democratic vote. This wasn't like Smogon saying get rid of this. So let's see. Yeah, so you can see the extremely high amount of ban versus do not ban votes. 209 bans, 32 do not ban, and 86%, 60% pro ban majority. They had a super majority with 86%. So you can see that people did not want this in the tier at all. They voted, got it out, and that was that. I mean, people were very certain that this was a broken mechanic. So I guess that's that. Let me go to the Generation 8 overused viability ranking list. And we can see a lot of these Pokemon who could Dynamax, who was such a threat. I mean, anything that can Dynamax is a threat. Seriously, you can really Dynamax any Pokemon at any time. Clefable was one of my favorites, very powerful with Life Orb. Ditto, of course, everyone's favorite. Excadrill, huge threat with its dual stab. Why is Flygon in here? That shit's definitely not viable. Well, maybe I'll have to test it. Gengar with the G-Max, Gyarados, Hawlucha, the two biggest threats. Hydreigon with the Nasty Plot set. Komodo, huge threat. Mew, I used that a ton. Let's see what else. The Rotoms could all do it, but it's like whatever. Snorlax, huge threat. Togekiss, gigantic threat. I hated Togekiss, one of the worst things to run into. Dragon Dance, Tyranitar, big one. All of these guys basically benefited from Dynamax. Barraskewda, Centiskorch, Copperajah, Corviknight. I mean, Darm loves being able to Dynamax because it can switch up its moves. Dracovish doesn't really need to. Dragapult liked it because it can switch up its moves after its specs. Grimmsnarl, Dreadnought, all these guys, man. Basically, I mean, what doesn't like Dynamaxing? You know, why would you ever not want to Dynamax? Very few Pokemon are hindered by Dynamax. Defensive Pokemon are, because they lose their ability to Wish Protect, whatever that bullshit is. And Dracovish probably doesn't like it that much because Fishious Rend turns into Max Geyser and it's not that strong compared to Fishious Rend. So yeah, that's basically that. They banned Dynamax. And here we are. So what do I think about this? Okay, so I know I made a vid saying that Dynamax is broken, and it is broken. It's a completely overpowered strategy in my opinion. But I am sad that it got banned. I'm like, that's the bottom line. I am sad it got banned. I think Gen 8's really fun. I mean, even though that this is a broken mechanic, it was really fun for me to play with on the ladder. I had a blast. I can understand why it was banned from tournament, but it just sucks that a core mechanic was so busted that they had to get rid of it. And like I said, I'm not like, oh man, Dynamax will make the metagame better. I don't agree. It is broken. I'm glad it got banned. I think Dynamax was terrible because it gave people an out. It gave people the ability to play badly and then just win by sending in Ditto and reverse sweeping you because they Dynamax back. It's like if you played well, it didn't really matter because your opponent could Dynamax at any time and just defeat you. And the argument of, oh, well, you can Dynamax too, so it doesn't count, is so stupid. Like that's not how it works. Like that's not indicative of a healthy metagame. Broken should not check broken. That's not how it works. So like, because that's like the easiest argument people like to give, like, oh shit, something's broken, well you can use it yourself, so it's not broken. No, it is broken. It's actually even more unhealthy that you both need to use it to even have a chance. Like that's obviously a problem. It would be healthier if there was some countermeasure versus Dynamax, but that wasn't Dynamax. But a lot of the time that's how people feel. So many times in a game, I'm sure a lot of you have had to Dynamax back just to defeat a Dynamax Pokemon, because you need to have like that boosted HP and a boosted attack to take out that bulky double HP Pokemon. And that's like, you know, that's just classic shit. That's how it works with Dynamax. But yeah, man, I mean, it's crazy. This is only gonna affect Smogon affiliated tournaments, ladder, all that stuff. I'm sure you can still play this on Wi-Fi or whatever other server you want to play on. Not everyone plays by Smogon rules, so it's not that big of a deal. However, I play by Smogon rules for the most part, so I'll probably, when I play on the ladder, it's gonna be banned from now on. I might play National Dex OU a little bit just so I can test out some of the more Gigantamax forms. I only have one more Gigantamax guy left that I didn't do, and it was Charizard, who I'll upload tomorrow probably. But overall, yeah, Dynamax is banned. We all saw it coming. We got a good month with it. It's just like, damn, dude, like it really was so broken that they couldn't do anything besides ban it. And we all knew it was gonna happen. I told y'all it was gonna happen forever. Like, and, I mean, it's not like I was making some like big futuristic read. Everyone knew this shit was gonna go. Let's read this. Council members. Man, I remember when I used to be on the council. Let's see what my boy ABR thinks. It goes way beyond Gyarados and Hawlucha terrifying Super Gender Dynamax moves. Choice option breaking is really, really good. You can flip the 1v1 very easily with Dynamax. You can have a scenario of Diggersby versus Toxapex. The Diggersby user normally can threaten the Oko with Earthquake. The question then arises, will the Diggersby Dynamax? Will the Toxapex? These questions can arise in an abundance of scenarios and devolve into an unreliable game, hyper-focused on the short term. I like that a lot. I actually talked about that when I did my first Dynamax was destroying Sword and Shield OU video. And I definitely agree. That it brings up too many weird guessing scenarios which just should not exist. And people like to say like, oh, you can't adapt, blah blah blah, but dude, you're only saying that because when it doesn't go your way, when you don't get like the 1 out of 4 chance to get it right, and the 3/4 happen where 75% of the time you don't get to play right, then you're screwed. And this is a very true thing. Like, what if the Toxapex Dynamax lives your Earthquake, Max Geyser, and you die, but then the Diggersby Dynamax so it kills you, or like whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? Or it's a Choice Scarf Diggersby, it Earthquakes, you go into your Mandibuzz, oh no, it Dynamaxed, went for Max Strike, then Max Lightning, now you lost because it was able to just switch up its choice to move. That is like, bruh, that is intense. That is so intense, a little too intense. I think the whole council was in favor of banning it. I'm usually someone who's in favor of having generation-defining mechanics, permanent weather, blah, 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 blah. We strive to make a metagame that is as completely balanced and fun as possible, and I don't believe that Dynamax is a place in that. For these and other reasons pointed out by the council, I'm in favor of banning Dynamax and by extension, Gigantamax. RIP Raj, man. Put a RIP Raj in the chat. But yeah, from here, Darmanitan Galarian form is going to get suspect tested. I'm 100% certain that thing is going to get suspect tested very soon. Yeah, that shit is so good. It's easily the best mon in the generation, literally comparable to Dynamax as a whole, in my opinion. Yeah, that thing is definitely gonna get suspect tested and most likely banned, but I'll make a vid on that when we get to that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Just wanted to discuss this, what I thought about it, just give some of my opinions. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, of course. I figured I'd just do a vid on this so I could educate people who, like, you know, either don't understand why it got banned, whoever has an opinion. I mean, yeah, I tried to stay like, I mean, I'm in favor of it getting banned, but I can see both sides easily. Just wanted to give, like, you know, some real reasoning. So hope y'all enjoyed. Peace.